Hi, Marigan and Valerie. Hey, I just switched up our check activities, so it'll make it much easier. Marigan, if you haven't gotten with Valerie on the 72-hour check activity in sync, you're going to want to do that because it's really taken place of most of the buyer check activities. So I'll show you what the buyers are happening. What's happening with the buyers at this point is just really two basic check activities. It'll Once a buyer comes into the system, it'll wait 1 week and then it will assign the contact owner this check activity. And then again 1 month later. And really, the reason for this 1 week check activity and then the 1 month later check activity is just to make sure that the system is tagging people appropriately and that people are receiving uh, the emails they should be and they're on the call plan like they should be. And we've had some problems with uh, Commissions Inc. Um, applying a timing tag which drops people out of the initial 3-4-12 call sequence. Um, so you'll be checking to make sure that that doesn't happen. Get with Valerie on that. She knows what to check on those, and you guys can do a screen share just to check those buyer there. So buyer check activities. Really, there's only going to be two system generated buyer check activities. 1 week after they come in, and then 1 month after they come in. No longer will you be getting any additional buyer check activities because we're going to do that 72-hour search within Sync that brings up everybody that has been active on the website in the last 72 hours that we haven't touched in any way in the last week. So you'll be pretty much doing your buyer check activities through the Sync portal rather than the Commissions Inc. or rather than Infusionsoft. So that's the buyer. These four other check activities that I created. Um, there's just a weekly check-in. There's a bi-weekly check-in. There's a monthly check-in, and there's a quarterly check-in. A couple things about this. This is no longer connected to what kind of prospect a buyer or seller is. So you could have even a lead or a prospect, and you can assign any lead or any prospect a weekly check in if you wanted to, because you felt that they were that important. So there's going to be some subjective um, choosing of how you use these. One thing that you'll want to know is any new sellers that come in will go on this monthly check-in, um, and you'll see that there's really no instructions in the tags. You can use these however you'd like. So even if you just want to check in on somebody weekly, it doesn't matter if they're a year down the road. You could check in with somebody weekly, um, or if they're a year down the road, you could check with them quarterly. You can choose. So I'll show you where those tags are. So essentially, the call plans and the check-ins, I called them check-ins instead of check activities because I don't want us just to rely on doing something in the background. If you feel like you need to call them when a check-in comes, then call them. Uh, uh, so if you feel like you just need to email them, great. But it should you should be doing what you did on a check activity too by looking at the different portals and checking what they're doing online. Here, I'm just going to pick a contact here just so I can show you where you can use these things. So Tony Goodrich. We'll go to the tag section. And it's going to be here under Tony's tag. So, and I tried to label it as common sense as possible. If you hit Tony's weekly check-in, obviously the system's just going to create a task once a week to check in with this person and check on them. There's quarterly, monthly, and bi-weekly as well. So you can use those however you'd like, and it really doesn't matter kind of what prospect category they're in, or lead category, or even client category. I'm going to use these on clients or people that were actively showing homes, and this is real key too. People that were actively showing homes, we should be putting on a weekly check-in. So use Tony's tags weekly check-in, because if we're showing them homes, we want to be reaching out to them on a week-to-week basis just to keep that momentum up, if that makes any sense. Uh, the other thing that I did, that you're going to see next week, 7 days from today, is you're going to see all the sellers that are not trash tagged. So anybody that's a seller that wasn't put in the trash, there's 250 of them. I put on a weekly check-in. The only reason I put them on a weekly is I'd like you guys to take a chunk at a time, probably no more than 10 to 15 a day, and go through them. Number one, check the MLS and see if they've listed, and then do just a regular check activity on that person, send out a concierge email, schedule a call, and then choose from there if you're going to put them on the monthly or quarterly, or bi-weekly if you feel like they're that hot, or weekly check-in. After you tag anybody that's on any one of these something different, it will pull them out. So the people that are on the weekly now, if you decide that they should be checked in on a quarterly basis and you tag them quarterly, then uh, it'll pull them from the weekly sequence. So the reason I say don't do any more than 10 to 15 a day is if you categorize 15 today as quarterly check-ins, 3 months from now you're going to get 15. If you did 60 today, 3 months from now you're going to get 60 on that particular day. So let's try to do 10 to 15. The reason I put them on the weekly check-in is really a week from now, when this just explodes your day timer with a bunch of tasks, you could delete down to 60 tasks, knowing that you're going to do 10 a day or 15 a day, and the next week it's going to generate whoever you deleted. So don't worry about deleting the tasks that you're not going to get to this week, if that makes sense. When they say Tony's weekly check-in, just for this initial period of trying to clean up the seller database. Give me a call if you have any questions on this, and we'll go over it in person. Okay. Hope this worked.
I'll get bigger.